This is your health show. My name is Purity Museo. In February 4th, 2022, the global cancer community commemorated World Cancer Day. And with the slogan, Close the Care Gap, the campaign was a call to everyone, collectively and individually, to commit to strengthen actions aimed at improving access to quality care, including screening, early detection, treatment, and palliative care. On this week's episode of Your Health, we speak with cancer survivors who will help us unpack the whole issue of the gap in caring for cancer patients in Kenya. Our guests this evening, Njeri is a breast cancer survivor and Moses Omondi is a bone cancer champion. Thank you so much, Moses, for being here. Lucy, it's a pleasure hosting you this evening. Thank you so much for being here. So we just want to talk about cancer, surviving cancer, the challenges, the treatment options, the burden of cancer in the country, and of course, the level of care that cancer patients get, okay? But let's begin by learning, Moses, when were you diagnosed with bone cancer? How old were you? And how were you in school? What was going on with your life at that time?
Okay, thank you so much for having me. I was diagnosed back in 2014, still a young kid, you know. By then, I was supposed to now join Form 3. It was a new year, we were at the parade, the opening assembly, and I fainted. So when I fainted, my dad was called, and when he was called to school, he rushed me to Nema Hospital. Because previously, I had complained of sharp pain around the knee joint, and I was aware what was going on. So he took me to Nema Hospital and X-ray was done.
That was in Nairobi?
That was in Nairobi, Kasarani area.
Right.
So when the X-ray was done, we went to Kiambu Hospital and the doctor reviewed the X-ray and the test and everything, and he wrote a referral letter for us to go to Kenyatta. By then, we were not aware what was going on. The swelling has already started, like it was a sharp pain and a little bit of swelling.
That was your right leg?
My right leg now.
Yeah.
So every day I used to complain, and my dad was like, I know you are a young boy, you like to play football. Maybe you got an injury from the field or something like that. So they used to like massage it with warm water and some salt each and every day, thinking it was an injury.
But the pain was not going?
The pain was not going away.
For how long did it last?
So that was like a Form 2 third term, back in 2013 now. So now this is 2014, we're supposed to go to Form 3, and now is when all this happened. I was readmitted. And when they called, we went into the doctor's room, and they broke the news like, this is the results, we found this and this. Your son has something called osteosarcoma. It's like a tumor, sort of cancerous, and at this point, because of the swelling and everything, the only solution is amputation. The way this thing has grown and everything, we can't help the leg. So there's only two options, amputation or death.
So it was what stage?
Me, after hearing that, I went out crying. I was still young. So the other information was passed to my dad, and then he came out and he told me like, this is just the beginning.
Lucy, once again, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Yours is a story of surviving breast cancer. Maybe you can tell us, where were you, what happened? Did you experience any symptoms before choosing to go to the hospital and, getting tested?
Well, I had just stopped nursing my 1.5-year-old child at the year 2016 December. So early 2017 is when I got to hear a node on my left breast, and I thought it's not a big issue, but then I had to go to the hospital for them to tell me what was it was. So when I went, the doctor who saw me told me that since I have just stopped nursing a small child, it could have been mastitis. So there was nothing to worry about. And I didn't take it lightly. I was worried. This is something foreign to your body. You've never felt it, but you felt it. And it's not even painful, by the way, but it's just there. When you move it, when you touch it, it moves around. So I went to a second facility to seek a second opinion. And in the second facility, they told me it was some fat residues on the duct. So it was nothing to worry about. And it was just a simple routine of surgery to remove the fats, and life goes on. Unfortunately, when I was booked in for the local surgery, when the doctor went in, I think the presentation was different from what they thought or what the tests were showing. And it turned out to be ductal carcinoma. So what happened, the surgeon closed up my breast, cut a small piece of biopsy, and it was to be taken for testing to certify what it was. I got my results, and it was saying it was ductal carcinoma, stage 1, grade 1, sorry. There's grading and there's staging. I don't know what the oncologist and the pathologist do with the grading and staging. And it was very devastated for me. My mom was ailing from throat cancer.
So at least you were aware that cancer exists.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what we had seen from our mom, I think I was not ready for it. Yeah. The pain, the struggle, the anguish. She was wasting away from the treatment. I went for treatment here in Kenyatta National Hospital. I was booked in for surgery, and they did total mastectomy. So they removed the left breast, the whole of it. Afterwards, I did chemotherapy, 6 sessions, still at a KNH. And afterwards, I did radiotherapy. And after radiotherapy, they went for immunohistochemistry, that is a testing for the hormones. And I was put on hormonal treatment for 10 years. Yes. It is not easy. You cannot define pain. Pain has no definition, whether it is emotional, whether it's physical, whether it's mental. It's a painful journey. And what I think made me push through is the people who are surrounded me. Yeah, they were my source of support, and also my kids.
Yeah. Did you get any psychological help on how now you're going to accept that this is the new me, or how did you overcome that?
I never got any kind of help.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could not imagine myself without a breast. And the person who I saw told me, just go and cry out to yourself. After you've cried enough, you come back because you're going to remove that breast. So I could go to the bathroom when I'm showering, and I look at myself, I have 2 breasts, but then I imagine sooner or later I'll not be having one. So there was no preparation, so it was a shock. And you know, this is my stronghold for the women. Yeah. So imagine one is not there. You can't even try to think how you'll be looking. And let me tell you, my self-esteem went down. Because when you walk out and people are looking at you, you're almost bending or putting a shawl, a big shawl, or a very big jumper so that you can cover it. It was not there. But with the time now, I've come to know how to go about it by myself.
Moses, back to you now. At home, the results are out. So when did the treatment begin, and what was your treatment option?
Okay, I stayed like for almost another month just in the hospital, waiting to be booked or to go to theater. And finally, my day came, and that Monday the doctor came and like saw the swelling now. It was big, and he told the nurse like, why don't you break a theater? Why is he still here? And the nurse told the doctor that Omondi, you know, that's why he's still here. But when he saw the swelling, he told the nurses that this thing, if he stays here 2 more days, it's going to burst. And if it bursts, that's it. Looking for theater, we need to go to theater and get amputated immediately. But when the nurse came and tested everything, my blood, it was low. The pH was low, so I was supposed to be added like 2 more pints of blood because that swelling was sucking all the blood in the body. But those 2 pints were brought, and I was added, but nothing changed because the swelling was still sucking, and it couldn't rise. So the doctor just recommended that I take him to theatre with extra blood, and we can just add him there when the operation is going on.
Yeah.
So I went to theatre the next Monday, that was 7th, 2014, Sabasaba. So I was taken to theatre, I was amputated, and because the swelling was around the knee joint, now they removed it at the thigh joint. And the doctor did that and told my family and I that we did that so that those cancer cells zimepanda.
Yeah.
So in case zimeanza to spread, they just end up there.
Yeah.
That's why they removed the upper part. So for my case, it was just amputation and like 3 cycles of chemotherapy. And that was it. But after amputation, I was discharged. So when I was discharged is when I was told that you need to come for the chemotherapy session. And I was supposed to go there after 2 weeks with 10,000 because NHIF wasn't covering outpatients.
At that time?
Yeah. So that was like a lot of money for the family. I just went for one. And it reached a point we sat down as a family and we decided that the operation was the main thing. These others just to make sure that haijapanda. So because even the family had used all the resources, there was nothing left, and we left it at there. So we did just the amputation and 1 cycle. That was it.
From 2014?
From 2014 up to now.
Yeah.
But I say thank God because maybe what the doctors did was the right thing because kuitoa hapo juu, I haven't felt anything since then. I have been okay. At least I gain weight, which is something good.
Yeah.
And I'm happy I'm still alive today to share my story to encourage someone out there.
So you were diagnosed in 2014?
The same year.
The same year. But the swelling had continued actually for a few months.
For a few months from 2.
Yeah.
Now this is a new year. So now is when the swelling had started now being big for almost 6 months.
Yeah.
So it was something big. It reached a point I couldn't even move out of the bed.
Yeah.
I was bedridden, doing everything there. The family comes, they take care of you there. You can't even step down because the leg is weak and the pain. So it reached a point where I'm the one who told my dad, like, now remove this thing. It's very painful. I can't take it anymore. Just remove it.
Yeah.
And pushed the doctors, and now it's when I went to theatre, the leg was removed.
Wow. So Lucy, stigma, self-esteem because one of your breasts is taken away, and here you are now talking about you are a champion and helping other survivors, especially with the journey. How did you gather yourself and say, at least I have another chance to live and I can be who I want to be without any fear?
It is not easy. Let me start with that. It is not easy. Even to date, it's not easy. I think I composed myself after crying, and somebody told me, at least you have one. I know people who don't have one, who have done double mastectomy. So at least you have one. And then what's the need of you having 2 and we lose you? Would rather have 1 and be around. And that synced to me. After all, I've got my kids.
Yeah.
That was my 3rd born. So that those are 3 kids. And I've breastfed them, and they are growing. And I want to see them. I want to be there. I want to be around them when they are evolving themselves. So it took a bit time, but I was okay. I had to look for something to staff on this side. Because definitely when people come to visit you or when you are moving out and they've already heard that you don't have a breast, so they are eagerly waiting to look at your bust and check which side, or is it true that you don't have a breast? So I went to Kikosh. I was doing business by that time. And I told one of the ladies that I was buying things from, where I have not been around the market. And she brought me this big thing, kimatiti. Iki tulitoa kwa mtumba tu kutupa. And she gifted me. And it was hallelujah. Now I can walk with my chest up and my head up. And I still had to get some new bras. The bras that are used by people who don't have one breast are specifically made so that it has a pocket so that you put in the prosthesis and then it rests on your chest so that it can't fall down. And when they look at you, they see that you have good breast. That was then. And I encountered many ladies who didn't know what to do, where to get those things. And you can't tell me that when you're going through treatment and you are traumatized, you can start going to look for bras and those things. So on the rehabilitation part, we need to close the gap. For women, that is for breast cancer, because I'm a champion of breast cancer. So there's a gap there and you have to close the gap. We have to provide the prosthesis and we have to provide them the bras, the mastectomy bras for the ladies to instill their self-esteem. To coming out to speak out and creating awareness, I got to know that now cancer is at our doorstep. It is no longer at the other ridge or the other side. And I could hear so-and-so diagnosed, and I was quiet. And I told myself, I'm not doing any good if I'm quiet. I believe bad things happen when good people are quiet. So I was quiet and I'm good, but bad things were happening. So I came out and spoke about my story. And to my astonished, the number of people that reached out to me, it was shocking. Because people are there, they don't know who to talk to. They're emotionally drained, they're financially drained, they don't know where to head to. And even after treatment, what is killing people to date is not cancer. It is depression, mental health. So I came out, I spoke about my stories. At times I walked without the prosthesis. And if I went for a home visit, even to date, and somebody tells me, no, you people, you are lying, I usually remove my breasts, the prosthesis and the clothes. And this is my scar for people to believe that it's happened and there is restoration, that people can stand back. What I call myself, last year, September, I changed my name. I don't call myself a survivor.
You call yourself a champion?
I don't call myself a champion.
Okay.
I call myself a conqueror.
Conqueror.
Why did I change my name? Last year, September, we went to Mount Kenya, a group of cancer survivors and caregivers. And cancer survivors were 9. So too were caregivers. And we went up to the summit, to the Nana. And so when I was up there, I changed my name. I'm not surviving. I'm not a champion. I'm conquering things. And I start conquering things. And as we are speaking now, via Kilele Health, next month, are we in Feb? No. In March, I'm going out to Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania to defy the odds. There's life beyond cancer, and you can lead a normal life like any other else. But what has to be done, we have to create awareness. We have to instill people's self-esteem. We have to be their support. We have to love them, despite being the way I am, my physique. No. You just love me the way I am and embrace me. And with such kind of stories and beautiful stories like he has told you. What he has not told you is that he also plays football. He does. So we can defy the odds. You don't have to be a two-legged person to play football. About maybe treatment, let me say mine, NHF came in for me. Yes. Total mastectomy, NHF paid. I never paid anything. That was 2017. So
there's hope. Even as
we are hoping,
closing the gap.
We are hoping, and the situation now is very different. As from it was 2017. We are hoping they are going to close that gap, because as per now, there's a bit of issues, but I think when we sit around the table and we bring those issues out, there's a way out.
Okay,
Yes.
I think time is not on our side. We have to wrap it up. I'll just give you like 30 seconds, parting shot on as far as cancer survivors are concerned, and if you want to narrow it down to the bone cancer survivors, what gap do we need to close as a society, as a country, as a ministry?
Okay, my parting shot would be especially for bone cancer survivors. They are not speaking much. They should come out, speak to end stigma around the society. Because as for me, I stayed indoors for like 3 months without going outside after I was discharged after amputation. And I was afraid even to walk. But one day my mom told me that this is you. This is the new you. That is a leg that has gone. It's not a hair or a nail that will grow after some time. You just have to learn to live with it. Go out there, familiarize with the environment, talk to people. They'll get over it after some time.
Yeah.
And that is what I did. And I started going out, walking, talking to people. At first, they used to look like this is different, this is new. But at times, after sometimes they got used to it. Now you are normal to them. So I can tell them that go out there, talk. Because for bone cancer, like the end result mostly is amputation. That's what I know. So a lot of people are getting amputated. Like, just go out there, share your story, because even the more you talk, the more you feel relieved.
Yeah.
And the more you talk, you help someone out there. So we should come out and talk. And in terms of ministry or the government, I think there's been some progress, because compared to then and now, at least NHIF is doing something, but still it's not that much. In terms of rehabilitation, they need to do more. Someone like me, after amputation, I need crutches. Someone needs a wheelchair. Now that is another burden that like the government should look up to, and just see how they can rehabilitate after treatment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moses and Lucy, thank you so much for sharing your beautiful stories as the world commemorates Cancer Month, Cancer Awareness Month. And I wish you all the best, and I hope the gap that we are talking about, as we cross over to next year, a time like now, we will not be talking about that.
Definitely, you also pray.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
I'm Purity Museo. Thank you so much for watching your health show this Sunday evening. I'll see you again next week. Same place, same time, God willing. Do enjoy the rest of our programming, and God bless.